Hey, sorry. This was unplanned. I did not really anticipate doing this, so I apologize for the no notice and just kind of doing it. But yeah, I just had some extra time and had something arrive at my door today, and I thought it might be good to make a formal announcement about it and do all that. And I guess also just BS if anybody wants to chit chat about stuff. I also just got a fresh haircut, so it's all clean and nice. Whoa. I feel the back of my neck again. My hair was getting crazy long. I shot some green screen stuff this morning, and my hair was out of control. And had to go get a haircut. It's really just disturbing. But anyhow, the reason why I am here today is to talk about the 80s Project's book project, which is going strong. I've been having a lot of time to kind of like push things through on it and get it going. By now, I think everybody knows that the first volume has been around for a while now, in hardcover, glorious hardcover. And also, I believe people now know that there is 1981 as well, which is also available. If you don't have it, I'll talk about where you can get it. But there's a brand new entry for the bookshelf as of today that I guess was up on Amazon and stuff like that already. So some people have already ordered it. But we now have the 80s Project Sci-Fi Edition for 1980 and 1981, both in one book. It's shorter than the others because there's just not as much sci-fi for this particular era. But we'll get as the 80s goes on, it gets actually the 80s Project sci-fi will end up being pretty close to the horror in terms of the number of episodes. But it is a little bit shorter. It's 160 some pages as opposed to 200 and some pages like the horror books are. But it covers all of 1980 and 1981. For instance, right here, you have the amazing Battle Beyond the Stars. It follows the same format as the other two volumes. It's cheaper than the other two volumes. That's $24.95 instead of $29.95 because it is shorter, but it is that same glorious hardcover. What's funny is that I say that it's shorter, but is actually here's the thickness of Timelines of Terror compared to this one. It's like the same really, except here you're getting hardcover and full color. Where do I get my haircuts? I get my haircuts at a place in Los Angeles. The same girl has been cutting my hair since I moved to LA. It's a lady named Melissa that cuts my hair in a place in Atwater Village in Los Angeles. So I've gone to some other people that have cut my hair here, and honestly, nobody gets it like she does. It's like every single time I come out, I like the way it looks. But here's my thing. After like my hair starts to grow out, other places that I go to get my hair cut, after it starts to grow out, it'll look weird. But Melissa, the way she does my hair, every single time it looks good and looks good afterwards. Well, if you live in LA and know Atwater, it's Comb and Honey is the name of the place. It's in Atwater. It's like if you know Atwater, you probably know about the Bigfoot Lodge, which is a very popular bar in Atwater. It's like 5 doors up from Bigfoot. So a great place to get your haircut. She is awesome. She does a great job. She's pricey, but she does really, really good job. But yeah, so I have down below in the description of this video, I have actually the links to go purchase the books. This one I'm not doing the signed copies for, where you order them directly from me and everything. I don't have that for this one. This one is just directly from the publisher. You can also get it off of Amazon and stuff with BarnesandNoble.com, all the websites as well too. Sadly, I will say that I make less from that, so I would prefer if you would buy them from the Ingram Spark link, which I have in the description down below. If you just go click on those links, each one is for a different volume, and you can get each one right there, where that's the best place to get them. If you don't want to get them from there, then obviously, yeah, you can get them from Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you are if you are overseas, I think Blackwaters, is it Blackwaters? Blackwell's, I think. There's another bookseller over there that has it available. Basically, anywhere online that sells books, you can order it from. So there's all of that. Also, I've just been informed that for the first time, the last Amityville, well, I have the Blu-ray right here. I guess the DVDs are showing up on all of the movie sites. Finally, you can order it off of Amazon and stuff like that, and different places that offer. But they're showing a pre-order that it's going to be shipping in January. So I guess you can order it if you don't want to go directly to SRS Cinema to order it directly from them. There are other sites that are going to have the DVD available soon. And I assume that some of these places will have international shipping if you want to get it for overseas. But there you go. Man, I'm Jet Screamer just watched Amityville Karen, and I am so sorry. That one's kind of rough. It's not the worst of the batch, but it's pretty far from the best as well, too. I've fallen off. I know there's been a couple of new Amityvilles that have been out that I haven't watched recently, but I think I'm pretty caught up. I believe so. So we'll see how it goes with those. Speaking of Amityville, I got invited to do something, and I guess I'm gonna do it. It looks like I'm going to be making a short film for an anthology, an Amityville themed anthology. So looks like I'm going to be shooting that in the near future here to do, which should be fun. I'm going to be shooting it in my store. So it'll be sort of a retail Amityville saga. We'll see how it goes there. Domingo Jr., do you mean the DVD or do you mean the books? Because I think that the books are available. Ingram Spark, I think, is international. I think they should have ways to do it everywhere. Uncle P wants to know if I would ever watch the same movie for 31 days in a row as a challenge. In case you don't know, on his channel, he's actually last year for October he watched The House is October Built every single day of October to see if it broke his brain. And this year he's watching, I believe it's Houses October Built 2. Is that correct? I would not. I have too many other movies to watch the same movie repeatedly, especially one that I didn't think was that great. Like I didn't care for The Houses October Built that much, but I wouldn't want to rewatch it over and over and over again. Maybe I'd watch Jaws every day for a month, but that'd probably be, I don't know if I would want to do that. I do have a lot of things to watch for the channel on a regular basis. I am right now watching things for December. Got a lot of things coming up here. December, you're going to get there's 2 episodes of the horror 80s projects that you're getting in December. Sort of my holiday gift to you guys. So I've been trying to watch those. And interestingly enough is that the 40s project, I was kind of split with what to do because some of the years for the 40s are very short and there's only like 7 or 8 movies. But then some of the years there's like 17 and 18 movies. So I've decided to kind of just make those like double length episodes. So I'm working on a 1944 episode right now, and there's like 18 movies. So the episode itself is going to be very long. So probably a good hour episode there. And And the interesting thing about the movies from the 1940s is they're generally pretty short, so they don't take as long to watch through. And they're fun. I mean, I'm sorry, watching the movies from the 40s has been a lot of fun. The 80s movies mostly are pretty fun. I know that the 1983 batches I've been watching have been a good time. Every once in a while, there's something that's kind of boring, but for the most part, they're giving me some good stuff to go through. But yeah, so again, I'm just going to recap in case you happen to miss it before. There are now 3 volumes of the 80s Project book, all in hardcover, all very glorious, will look really nice on your shelf as a sort of a little encyclopedia set. And for those of you like Professor Victor that are very compulsive, they are all the same size and they will all look great going across. But yes, if you go in the description down below, there is instructions on how to purchase each one of them. And they are, again, full color with pictures and descriptions and everything. And even in the back of the book, you'll get the index, making everything very easy to find. And you will have sort of the kind of recap of like what is the best of that particular year. But yeah, lots of good stuff happening in these books. So I recommend it coming out. So I think Sleepaway Camp is coming up. It's still a couple of episodes away, though. That was a little bit later in '83. So I think that comes up in like episode 6, I believe, is when that is supposed to hit. So not super coming up there, but yeah, I would now just open it up. If you guys have any questions you want to put in the chat box, I don't even know where it is, whatever side I'm pointing at, that it is. Throw me up some questions and I'll answer whatever questions you got until I run out of time here. I'm going to probably hang up at about 1 o'clock. So any questions you got, shoot them my way and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you for this is a brand new haircut. There's tons of product in it right now. Russ Morgan said, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Not sure what the success is at this particular point because there's a lot that doesn't feel very successful, but we'll see how it goes. So, here we go. Uncle Pete wants to know what the best new horror movie of 2024 is. And you know what? That's an interesting question. That's actually a really good question because I've seen some good movies. I've seen some good stuff in 2024 that I've liked quite a bit. The best, I have to say, I think so far that the best, this might be cliche. This might be a basic bitch answer, but I think probably Longlegs, I guess, so far. We'll see where it goes. I don't know if it's 2023 or 2024. I thought it was going to be Abigail, but then the last 15 minutes of Abigail happened and I changed my mind. Because it's a terrible 20. I'm hearing fantastic things about The Substance. I'm really looking forward to that one in a major way. That's probably the thing I'm the most eager to see at this particular point. I'm very much interested in that. There's quite a few things that I haven't seen yet that I actually have planned to watch in the next week or two. Like I still haven't seen Oddity. I've heard great things about that. I haven't seen Cuckoo. I've heard great things about that. Plenty of things I haven't seen that I do want to watch that I have, but I just have not checked them out yet. Yeah, like Russ says, talked about the Omen prequel, the first Omen. I haven't watched that yet. That's on my roster of things to watch next week, as I'm editing and stuff like that. So I have some things to catch up on modern stuff. I've been very behind the 8 ball in terms of watching older movies for the channel. Jet Screen wants to know if Beetlejuice 2 count. I guess it'd be hard to call that not horror, right? I mean, it has some horror elements, but man, I'd probably throw that more in the comedy category. But the lines are so blurred with anything. Come on, Nerdy Goth is here. Hello. Was Late Night of the Devil was definitely last year. Although I have to admit that I I didn't like that movie as much as everybody else. I thought it was fine, I guess. But that one I was not that terribly into. I did not dislike it, but I didn't love it. So just come up. If you're gonna come up, come up. Sorry. Jump. You can do it. You've done it 1,000 times. There we go. I did just watch In a Violent Nature, which I thought was cool. It's pretty good. I liked it. I don't think it succeeded at what it was trying to do, but it was all right. It was decent. Could have been better. I thought it would. The idea of following the killer around and like seeing the killer's point of view, I thought that Behind the Mask explored that in a more interesting way. I thought that this could have done something more with the concept to kind of give more insight into the killer. And it just didn't really do that enough. I would have liked to have seen that. Yeah, the whole thing on Terrifier 3 and the current publicity making people leave the theater. I don't know if you know, but what they did with Terrifier 3 was they did a test screening and they had a whole group of audience members that apparently were under the impression that they were going to be watching like one of those Hallmark Christmas movies. And they just started the movie without any opening credits. So the audience didn't know what the movie was. And then just the violence started and people were like leaving. And like, well, what are you doing? What are you showing us? This is gross. And they like walked out because they were just like, we don't want to watch a horror movie. We thought we were watching a Christmas movie. And it got chalked up as people were so upset and leaving the theater. Yeah. I mean, the Terrifier movies is not my thing. I get why people like them. I think that the first movie is just not good at all. Not good. The second movie probably could have been pretty good if it was about an hour shorter. It's just way too long. And this is very funny. So Diane Canon is in Terrifier. That's so funny that Diane Canon is coming up because Diane Canon just came up the other day at my store. I was waiting on a customer that is friends with Diane Canon, and she mentioned her, and I was talking about how Diane Canon was like a childhood crush, and I was like obsessed with Diane Canon. She was like, "Well, really?" She pulled out her phone. She showed me all this pictures of her and Diane Canon and everything like that. So I was like, oh, "You tell Diane Canon, you give her my number. You tell her, you tell her we can hang out." So it's funny that she's coming up, and she's in Terrifier 3, I guess. I'm assuming she'll have a death. Stella has watched. The question is, did Stella already watch 3 of the big gateway horror, Gremlins, The Gate, and Monster Squad? Stella does not like to watch movies. She's not into it. She likes watching YouTube videos and short things and cartoons and stuff like that. But she is not interested in movies. It's kind of weird. She has watched Gremlins, at least most of it. Like she paid attention to parts of it, but then left. She probably might want to watch the Monster Squad, but it's like, unless there's monsters on the screen, like she does like watching the monster parts, but that's about it. I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. She likes the scary stuff. Like if I'm watching something, if she's in the same room as me, and I'm watching something, I'll make sure that I'm watching something that's not bloody or violent, or I'll watch like ghost movies or something like that, or movies that are scary without being gory. I'll watch those when she's around, and she's constantly peeking. She's constantly like watching, like when she thinks I'm not looking. But I don't care. I mean, she can watch them. I don't care. I just don't want her seeing like all the gory blood and guts stuff, but she seems as she can handle it, but I don't know. Do I have any plans of covering the Corpse Party trilogy? No, I actually don't have that on my roster. I'll have to see about covering that. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've shifted away from doing the kind of more traditional timeline-y videos. Although there are a couple coming up, some franchises I haven't done yet to kind of cover. And I still want to redo, I have an itch to redo Child's Play, the timeline now that the show is complete, and actually cover the show and do that. So eventually I will do that as well too, but after the first of the year. I have everything, just so you kind of get an idea of how far in advance I work. I have everything planned out now through the first of the year. I have some ideas for January, but I have locked down everything for October, November, December. The October videos are complete. They're all done. November videos I'm filming a green screen for right now, and I'll start editing those. And I'm watching all of the movies for December, which is weird because I'm about to watch some Christmas horror. So it's always strange to be watching Christmas horror in October. But I'm about to do that. So this should be interesting to see. But I don't know. Stella does not watch Skibbity Toilet. She watches these weird reaction videos. And she likes these videos where people tell stories and stuff like that. I think she's a little too old for the Skibbity Toilety stuff, which seems to be more towards the like littler kids, I guess. I don't know. She likes some strange stuff. She likes anything that's like Roblox oriented or Minecraft, and she calls them Roleplays, where these videos where people like act out stories with like the little what's it called? Toka Life, some sort of game she plays or whatever like that. But it's this whole realm. These kids today and their iPads and silly YouTube videos. But I don't know. But yet, two different horror reviewing channels said people fainted or got sick in the theater they went to. Clickbait. I don't know. I'd probably guess that's like hype, just the hype and promotion. I mean, there's nothing in Terrifier 1 or 2 or whatever. They said the same things about Terrifier 2, and there wasn't anything in that was like something a horror fan hasn't seen in like a minute. Like, if you put on something like a Serbian film or something like that, I'm sure you could say that people threw up. Sure. Or what's that thing I watched? There was a movie I like, or the vomit gore, whatever that one was called. I completely forget what that was called. No, Vomit Dolls. Whatever that was on. Like, I could see if that was making people leave because it's just all the puke and stuff like that. But I'd do it. But I don't know. If I could remake any horror movie with a Hollywood budget, what would I do? I would do, I'd probably do something that really wasn't that good to begin with, but maybe like was fun. I guess it depends on what a Hollywood budget is. Are we talking like a big budget? But I don't know. There's a lot of like things that had good potential that just weren't that great. But then I also would like to maybe do something particularly silly. Like part of me wants to say Killer Clowns, just because I think it'd be fun to kind of like get the Chiodo brothers to kind of to make all new clowns and stuff like that, and just do something really over the top and fun. But then again, maybe part of the joy of Killer Clowns is that there's just the one of it. But I don't know. Maybe Shocker. Why not Shocker? I don't know. Stella, how old is Stella? Stella is 7.5 now. She's getting close to on her way to 8. So, and then Trevor Cummins says the Audition is the only movie I went to people actually faint. The paramedic showed up. Good times. Audition is pretty. I mean, that movie's pretty harrowing. But yeah, people walked out of the Joker 2. I have not seen the Joker 2 yet. I will be honest, I didn't care for the Joker 1. I thought it was very, I didn't like it at all. Wasn't my thing. So I didn't really have any interest in Joker 2, but I'm actually kind of interested to see it because I want to see if it's as bad as people are talking it up to be. I want to see why is everyone saying how terrible this is? And I'm just hoping it's not like a Morbius thing where it's like, you finally see it and you're just like, this is so boring and bland. Why is anybody talking about this? There's nothing to talk about in this movie. Josh Woodrum says, what is the worst horror remake ever made and why is it Gus Van Sant's Psycho? I actually, believe it or not, I disagree with that because I think that Psycho in terms of being I don't think it's that good, right? This is not me trying to defend the Psycho remake. But I think that the idea of doing the shot-for-shot remake is kind of interesting. And for some reason, I kind of respect Gus Van Sant, because the reason why he did a shot-for-shot remake is because he said, anyone else that does a remake of this, they're going to make all these changes. And like, there's no reason to remake this movie. So it's perfect. It should just be as it is. And he said that really the only way, if you have to do a remake, if I don't do this, then someone else is going to come in here and do a remake and butcher it. And he just did this same thing. And I don't know, part of me kind of respects that in a way. It's not something I want to watch, but I feel like it's also hard to slam, knowing that if he didn't do that, we would have gotten another remake of some kind, and it would have been like probably worse, is my guess. I don't know. I find it interesting. But yes, I definitely. I mean, they've been hyping up Joker 2 as a musical. Like, it was one of the first things that they really announced about it, which is what I thought sounded kind of interesting. But I guess we'll see what it is. Domingos too hated Joker 1 outside of the acting. Yes, the acting was excellent. All the acting was very nice, and it was shot really well. The cinematography was gorgeous. I thought it was beautiful. But I didn't. The story, I didn't care. I just did not care at all. But he was a character I didn't care about. His problems felt super whiny to me. It was just like, so this is what this is what is making this character like such a holy terror, is that people tease him, and I don't know. That wasn't into it. Not my thing. I did see A Quiet Place Day 1 recently. I finally got to see that one, which I thought was pretty good. Completely unnecessary movie. Like, didn't really give any extra insight as to the aliens or the invasion or the story, the overall story of the universe. It added nothing to that. But I thought that the character piece of it and the main characters were fantastic. And I will watch Lupita Nyong'o in any movie, period. She's insanely beautiful and a wonderful actress, and she was great in it, and her character was great. I loved watching that. And there was a cat. I mean, how could I not want to watch a cat? So I thought that was pretty good. I was happy about that. Also, I watched. I didn't include it, but I watched that. I did that video not that long ago about spiders, and then I watched a couple of movies that I'll probably put on another video. There was 2 spider movies that came out around the same time. There was an American one called Sting. And then there was a, I think Brazilian, it was an international movie called Infested as well. Both the movies had to do with spiders in an apartment complex. So similar-ish themes, but very, very different movies. And both good. I liked Sting quite a bit. And then I watched Infested, and I said, this is better. But they were both good. I recommend both of them. I really liked them. But Infested was definitely better movie. I also watched Tarot, which sucked. And I forget everything about it. So don't ask me what I thought about it, because I don't remember anything about it. It was such a generic, stock, bland, nothing movie. And then I watched The Strangers Chapter 1, which is just The Strangers. I mean, we talk about shot-for-shot remakes. That's about as close to a shot-for-shot remake as you can get, outside of calling it one. It's terrible. My favorite female villain of the 80s, my top 3 is Angela, and Mary Lou. My favorite female villain of the 80s, if I was just going to go with my gut, it would be Angela from Night of the Demons. That's my first instinct to say. I kind of want to say, no, that's the 90s. I was going to say Return of the Living Dead 3, but that's 90s. So I don't think that counts, but we'll go from that. And I guess I'm going to get ready to wrap up here and get going. So get ready to go, but I would have to think about the other one. Sir Duddy rewatched Smile last night, the solid practical effects. And I don't know if you know, but that thing at the ending with all the teeth at the ending, that was sculpted by our friend of the channel, Mikey Rella. He actually did that creature, made that design for that creature. Well, I don't know if he came up with design. He sculpted the thing in the movie, which is pretty cool. If you don't follow Mikey on Instagram, go follow Mikey on Instagram. He has some really amazing behind the scenes stuff that's really cool on there. So last thing here, Anthony Strauss wants to know most overrated 80s horror and sci-fi flicks. That's a tricky one. I know. I think I said this in the book, and I will stand by it. That I feel like the most overrated 80s horror. I know this is going to be blasted because I love so much of the other ones, and I'm not saying I don't like this movie, but it's probably the original Friday the 13th. I do think it's a great horror movie. I think it's an excellent horror movie, but I don't think it is like the horror masterpiece that like the first Nightmare on Elm Street is, or the first Halloween is. It's not that like groundbreaking, genre-defying, like upending everything horror flick that I feel like it sort of gets credit for being. It's just a cool little horror flick with an ending that doesn't make any sense. I will never forgive that movie for being like, it's a murder mystery. Which one of these killers is? Which one of these people is it? Oh, maybe it's Steve Christie. Who knows? It could be him. Maybe it's old Ralph. Who knows who it is? Oh, it's a lady we've never even mentioned. So regardless, still a really great movie. Still a lot to love about Friday the 13th. I just feel like it's overrated. It's overinflated for what it is. It's if people were just like, yeah, I thought it was cool, but it has this like reverence to it that I don't necessarily feel like is deserved. And I will say the most overrated sci-fi flick I'll probably be talking about in the next sci-fi episode. It's Return of the Jedi, because people forget that when it came out, people didn't really like Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi was a very disappointing ending for that trilogy, and when it came out, everyone was just like, really? Ewoks? Okay. I mean, the Jabba stuff is great, but what's all this stuff? But now it's like, oh, Return of the Jedi, one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time, blah, 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 blah. No, it wasn't that good when it came out. Like, time has been kind to it, but it's overrated. It was the worst of the trilogy, and not a fantastic movie once they leave Jabba's palace. The whole second half of that movie is not as great as it could be. But there you go. And there, right there, Jet Streamer's preaching right there. Ice Pirates is very underrated, very silly, fun movie. On that note, guys, one last time before I go, I'm just going to plug this up here. So the 80s Project, Horror of 1980, available down below in the description. 80s Project, Horror of 1981, down below in the description. 80s Project Sci-Fi Edition, brand new, 1980 and 1981, 2 full years in this one volume right here. Right down below in the description. Order yours today, or you can get them from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Blackwell's, any one of the online places to get books. You can get them very easy. I would prefer it if you use the link down below. If not, it's totally fine to get them from other sources. Appreciate it. And on that note, also I will mention Friday, a very special Stephen King-ish thing coming out next week. The week will start off with some live horror trivia coming up again. And next week is what's next Friday? I don't even remember what I have planned for next Friday. Let me tell you. You'll find out when I do. Up 80s Project Sci-Fi Edition coming up next Friday. So some more 80s Project coming your way. There's some 40s Project coming your way before the ending of the month. There's a special Dead Last with the return of the boys. Derek, Maddie's coming back. Graham Schofield from Face Off is coming back to the show. Panel episode coming where we're talking about Vincent Price. Pretty excited about that. And yeah, good stuff coming your way. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.